I'm Suzanne Barbati with Oh Wow, the Roger and Gloria Jones Children's Center for Science and Technology, and I'm here with Bob Messaros from Commercial Metal Forming, a longtime supporter of Oh Wow and a sponsor of our new product, thanks to COVID, called Stem Cells. And Bob, we're so thankful for your participation and your sponsorship, and excited to celebrate your 100th anniversary.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, first of all, for affording us the opportunity to help support an amazing organization that helps kids.
You've been as a 100-year-old organization. Can you talk about the importance of relationships in the community and how that impacts commercial's ability to pivot and transform itself?
I think a lot of businesses never get to that 100-year mark. For one reason in particular is that they don't truly understand the value that doesn't show up on a P&L, that doesn't show up at the revenue line, that doesn't show up in the product itself that goes out the door, other than that people are touching it. And I know when, before I came to commercial 11 years ago and was interviewing and getting to meet some of the folks, you could feel it in the organization. You could feel that there was something fundamentally there that had to been, nurtured and placed long time ago, that carried over from when the Cushwa family first founded commercial. And so why has commercial survived? I mean, we do a lot of great things, but the fundamental thing that I always talk about when we talk about commercial, it's the people. And it's the people in Youngstown. It's the people that care. And that caring translates into the workplace. And we try to talk every day from a culture standpoint that it's one that hopefully touches your life outside of commercial. Because if those things aren't reinforced, then it's just a job. And when it's just a job, it's not meaningful. And our people have a give a damn attitude. And so consequently, we just tried to reawaken that in the transformation and bring that back to the forefront, that all these other financial metrics are important, but at the end of the day, if you screw up that one, it doesn't matter because it'll be short-lived. So that's the unique thing. And I think that's the strength behind Commercial Metal Forming, Youngstown, Ohio. And I would suggest that's the strength behind Oh Wow, because of the way that you touch lives and your organization touch these young lives. And I think kids nowadays aren't being taught those lessons. And I think your organization reinforces much more than STEM. I mean, STEM is the platform. But the value structure behind that is what's missing in our education system. And I think, through your guidance and leadership and your teams, you're reinforcing those subtle things that build the moral fiber of young people. And when you can touch lives in those two ways, you're going to be successful. It doesn't mean you won't have challenges, but you will be successful, and you will help nurture and guide and direct the future leaders of Youngstown, Ohio, and who knows where else in the country that kids will come from. And I just hope, I'm around long enough to maybe read about some of those kids that can point back and say, something happened to me at Oh Wow.
And encouraging those kids and their families to take whatever skills they learn here, whatever values they learn here, whatever relationships they build here, and take those out into the community and continue those efforts. So I appreciate what you said, Bob. We believe that wholeheartedly.
And I'm sure, Suzanne, the thing that you're trying to reinforce, that we're trying to reinforce every day, is everything's got to start with respect and the humanity of that. And then we lift people up. And you're lifting kids up every single day in the way you touch them with the experience at Oh Wow.
We're looking forward to opening on May 15th and celebrating that day with Commercial Metal Forming. We're much younger than commercial, but same values, and working on those skills, those career exploration opportunities here at OWL, hopefully will translate to the skills needed in the job market. How do you feel? Do you believe that's true, or how do you feel about that?
In thinking about this, I think, and I know your charter's on STEM, but there's a lot of kids that probably come through there that aren't as interested as some, but they take away something. And the thing, I mean, my background's in the science fields. I mean, my degree was in biology, and my dad was a high school biology teacher and football coach. The thing about the sciences that translates through any other academic area that that is not necessarily the other academic areas aren't reciprocal, is that the science fields make you wonder. And so the ability to pose a question, create a hypothesis, look for solutions, those fundamental skills that, you know, are just embedded in STEM because of the scientific process. But I think kids that are touched by this, that necessarily won't go into science, technology, and engineering and math, but the humanities or things like that, that fundamental ability that you help them develop in the questioning process translates to any functional discipline. So, you know, I know STEM, you know, STEM gets this rap that, well, it's these guys over here that kind of, you know, they're little loony, think differently, but no, it's, if you take the time to experience an oh wow, and you let it happen and sink in, you're going to fundamentally learn skills in life about questioning and problem solving and thinking deeper. So, you know, when we talk about STEM, we want to jump right into those 4 disciplines, but there's so much more there from an intellectual standpoint that I think we're missing out on the academic world, that STEM can give to other disciplines in the humanities, you know, so it's not just science-based type things, but it's a way to think, and it translates in helping solve problems. I mean, I know in our company, people that are science-based are good at questioning. And what I mean by that, they've been taught the Socratic method academically. And that's really, you know, you're posing questions at oh wow. And probably the easiest way to sum it up is just suppose. You know, just
Yeah.
Suppose.
What if?
And yeah, what if? Yeah, so fortunately, unfortunately, I think I'm living proof that if you live by the question, what if, there aren't limitations. And that's what you present every single day with oh wow. If we can inoculate, bad term in this day and age, if we can inoculate our kids with the question, what if?
What if?
There are no limitations on their life. Doesn't mean they're not going to have struggles and be challenged, but if you give them the courage to ask the question, what if, which is what you do. Your environment in oh wow is one big what if. You walk in your building and what hits you is what if. If you're brave enough and feel strong enough to ask that question, your life can be a mosaic of experiences that you cannot even fathom because of where it'll take you. And you're facilitating that for some very, very fortunate kids in the Mahoning Valley, in the Valleys area.
Thanks to the support of Commercial Metal Forming and so many others locally, especially in this last year. Can you talk, Bob, a little bit? So you talk about people would still have difficulties and likely failure,
Sure.
right? I mean, that's part of this process. We don't get anything perfect the first time we do it.
Nope.
So
But I think in going back to your what if, which I think is a powerful question. If that is part of your fiber and you reach a challenge or you fail, then that mindset of what if is going to support you to look back on what did I learn?
right.
And then to pose the next question of whatever is appropriate with what might be, so it's its own internal support system. Because to your point, you don't get it right. We don't get it right every day, believe me, and we're constantly, I mean, it was a change for people, even though there was that common fiber there from, all these, been here 11 years, so 89 years prior, there was that common fiber, but you had to reinforce with people, it is okay to fail. And, so that's, I think if you're grounded in that, then you can accept challenges.
Yeah, we believe that wholeheartedly here. And it's all part of that continuous improvement process, right? Constantly striving to do things better. I mean, you've done that. You've invested millions into the infrastructure there at Commercial Metal Forming. I mean, in a way that hadn't been done, I don't think, for 20 or 30 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of the folks I've talked to with, we've been blessed. We've really been blessed because the people have were a little weird on selection of words, and a lot of companies talk about being engaged. I don't know what that means, and I've been engaged once, and 47 years ago. So, but we use the word embrace. So when we embrace challenges and look at opportunities and say, well, what if we did this? What if we put in, a new operation line in 2013? What if we just finished another one? We just spent $3.5 million and put in a new manufacturing line that we launched at the end of last year, cellular manufacturing. So, it's innovation, continuous improvement, whatever you want to call it. We have a little different view of the world that was different, that we brought forward to commercial. And I think it relates to kids too. Who do you compete against? And I think it's appropriate to kids. I mean, I got grandkids now, and was at my granddaughter's soccer game last night. And I always tell her the same thing. And at 11 years old, I'm an annoying old guy. But what I say to her before she goes out on the field, I said, you need to be better today than you were yesterday. It wasn't score 3 goals. I mean, she's the best player in this league. It wasn't score 3 goals. It wasn't this, it wasn't that. And you're the only one that can answer the question. So in the context of innovation and continuous improvement, our theme we've adopted is we stole a good idea in trying to articulate it in a simpler way. It's called the infinite game.
Mm.
And so who are we competing against? You need to know who your competition is in business, in science, but you have to be self-driven, not by what they do, but what you're willing to do. What sacrifice am I willing to make? I'm, at the end of the day, and this is part of our talent management process, it's what are your strengths and how are you using those strengths? Because the good Lord gave us all different blessings. And so are we using those? So in our methodology, continuous improvement and innovation, and it ties to STEM, how are you getting better?
How are we each as individuals getting better than we were yesterday? What have we
Exactly right.
learned? How are we going to implement that? Yeah. We have a
Yep.
new exhibit coming in, Bob, that speaks exactly to that. It's called House of Shine. So
Awesome.
celebrating your strengths, your hobbies, your interests, and also your irritants, your needs, and your experiences, and how all of those things make you who you are, and encourage you to celebrate that and share that with the community. So we're really excited about that
Well,
as well.
and that is, as we were talking earlier, Suzanne, that is so much deeper than this just saying STEM. As we were talking about, the mental process of asking questions, which is second nature in the science worlds. Well, now what you're doing is you're reinforcing kids, because what do kids go through? Peer pressure.
Oh, absolutely. We all do,
So,
don't we? Even
well,
today.
yeah. I mean, you're right to some degree. I mean, we all like somebody to pat us on the back and say,
Yeah.
hey, you're okay. But you're facilitating now something completely different within the human psyche for these kids, in that I can find my own strength within me because I'm of value.
That's the message. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Bob, we'd love to invite you to come and explore a while when you're traveling again and up this way. And
I look forward to it.
yeah, congratulations on the new move. And yeah,
Thanks.
we look forward to continuing our discussions.
Well, thank you, and thank you to you, your team, and wow, for making a difference in the lives of so many kids, those that you've touched already, and those many more that you will touch in the future, because you're helping form the future of Ohio, of the Valley, of the country, in a very unselfish way. So God bless.
That. Thank you.
Take care.
Have a good day.
You
All
too.
right. Bye-bye.